Excellent. All right, everybody, welcome. Today's present, actually here at San Diego County Fair, I'm Stephen Burns. I'm the president of the San Diego Photoshop Users Group. We're approximately 5,000 members here. So our presentations are online, live online, once a month. Make sure if you haven't done so yet, sign the mailing list, give us your email and cell phone, and you will be given today's presentation on techniques, post-processing techniques for the pros. And this is going to be your opportunity to ask questions, right? So how many people here are photographers, right? Okay, what are you using to enhance your photography?
Photoshop.
Photoshop? Anything else?
Bridge.
You got Bridge, all right? Anybody using Lightroom? A little bit of Lightroom as well?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, we're going to talk about that. All right. Now, one person, Faith here, sent me a photograph and she was disappointed. She loved it, but was disappointed with it because she didn't have the highlight in the eyes of the character that she photographed. And I'm going to go share this with you now. So she shot this shot here at the fair, and there's some things wrong with it. Number one, we've got a background here that's distracting, and we don't have a highlight in the eyes of the animal. Now, I'm going to show you a bunch of different things as to how you should approach editing your images, right, for your post processing. So she sent this to me from her cell phone. We're in Photoshop, okay? And let me come on back and bring back my layers. I'm gonna go back and get my layers here. So let's go get my tools and let's go and get my options and let's go get layers right there. All right. Now, when I'm working with Photoshop, just kind of get just a quick little understanding here. I like my interface set up so that I have my layers, channels, and paths, and then I want one other thing called the properties. Now, this is what I use when I'm working with photography. So let's attach that to the top here. I'm using the space bar and control held down, tap down left to right allows me to do the subpixel resizing. Wherever I place the cursor is where it zooms to. Okay, so we want to help. We want to improve upon this picture. First of all, we need to put the animal onto its own layer. Now, this is one of the mistakes that most photographers are making, is they're not putting the time into placing their subject on their own layer. So every go take a look at photographs in the gallery, and you see a little bit of a highlight edge around the edges of things. That's because the photographer is not taking time to place all their compositional elements on their own layer. This is very important. Layers are critical. And I'm going to talk about them here, and I'm going to show you the proper way to work with them here. Um, you want Photoshop to have the ability to apply all of its commands and tools to every object independently from the entire scene. So we're about to accomplish that now. So let's use a selection tool. The key to mastering Photoshop is mastering selections. Selections and masks are exactly the same thing. So on my toolbar here, I'm going to the second one down. Oh, come on in. Come on in. You can join us up front here if you like.
I want to take notes.
Oh, well, come up front here so you can see and hear me. Sign the mailing list here, okay, for the Photoshop Users Group. And I am recording this presentation, so you don't have to take notes.
Oh, I can.
Right. So when you give me information, I will email it to you. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. You're welcome. Okay. Let's go have some fun. So, key to mastering Photoshop is mastering selections. Selections and masks are exactly the same thing. On the toolbar, second tool down from the top right hand corner, I have my object selection tool. If you see anything with a little bit of a triangular dot here, that means there's more tools in here. This object selection tool is going to identify objects or shapes, right? I'm going to click and drag around the rooster. That is a rooster, right?
Yeah.
And I'm going to just go to here.
Yeah, cut off his legs.
All right, I'm cutting off his legs. I don't really want to cut off his legs, so we're going to add his legs in there. So we're going to zoom in close. Space bar first, control or command, and drag and zoom it on into here. All right, now what's happening with this tool is it's highlighting all areas that it thinks you want to select. So what I'm going to do is hold down the shift key and select the feet like so. Hold down the shift key and select these feet over here. And I'm going to tap down and release, and it's having a little bit of a tough time recognizing that's what it needs to select. So if that's a problem, click and hold on the same tool, go to the quick selection tool. This is a painting tool for selections. I do not have to hold down the shift key for this. This tool is automatically going to add. So if I just drag it across, this tool is learning. It's trying to guess what it is you want to keep and what you want to discard. It's spilled out over here. So come back with Option and Alt and just drag back over this, and it should deselect this, okay? So it's having a little bit of a tough time. So I'm going to have to go in with my lasso tool. Actually, no, I'm going to go back. I'm going to stick with this one. Go to my Alt key, and Alt key drags it back out. This tool is learning. It's not quite AI, but it's learning. It's going, oh, you actually wanted to keep this and take this away. All right, so I got a little bit here that I might want to keep. Oh, too much. Alt key or Option key, drag it, and now it knows what to keep and what to discard. That's about as good as it's going to do. Control 0. There we go. What do I do next?
Steve, I do have a question.
Yes.
When you use the select object or whatever,
Yes.
do you do anything to modify the edge? Do you go to smooth or feather or?
Great question. So the question is, once I make a selection, do I do anything to modify the edge? Yes, you can. I'm not going to do it just yet. You're going to see why. Let's place the animal onto its own layer. Anybody remember the shortcut in Photoshop?
For what?
To place the animal onto its own layer, the shortcut. Thank you. Say it out loud.
Control J.
Control J, right? So you were gonna, how come you didn't say it? Don't be shy, because I'm gonna call you on it. All right, so we're gonna Control or Command J. There it is. I can turn off this background now. All right. Now, the edge looks pretty decent. I'm gonna get in close. Edge looks pretty darn good. So I didn't really need to modify, but I can modify the edge, and we'll talk about that in just a little bit. All right, now the problem is that once we get this on its own layer, we want to add one of the little techniques. It's called creating a smart object. I want this completely non-destructive. Right-click on the blank side of the layer. Very important. Where you click matters. Right-click on the right side blank portion of the layer, come down to the bottom, and convert to smart object. When you see that little symbol there, we got ourselves a smart object. All right, now this is going to be a little bit more interesting. It's going to get a little more interesting. Let's turn on the background layer, and I'm going to duplicate the background layer. Command or Control J. Okay. Now, this too, I'm going to make a smart object. Right click, convert to smart object. Why? Because now I want to add a different technique to this background. I'm going to add a Gaussian blur to the background just so I can take down the visual detail that's basically competing with our main subject. So a smart object will makes this non-destructive. So whatever I do at this point, I can always go back and edit. So filter menu, blur, Gaussian blur. I don't want to blur it that much, but enough so it's not so distracting. Does that make sense a little bit? Now when I click OK, look here, it creates a smart filter. That means I can turn it off and on anytime I want, or I can go into the Gaussian blur, double click it, and come back into it anytime I want. Now I'm going to start showing you the workflow that becomes important before we even start thinking about putting the highlight, the catch light, and the rooster's eye. The details, which is what you're getting from your digital cameras and or your SLR cameras or mirrorless cameras, your details are incorrect because your sensor is designed to give you the best information in the mid-tone range as much as possible. That means you've lost detail and you don't know it because you've gotten to the habit of looking at raw images and digital images and thinking that what you have is exactly what you should have is incorrect. And these are some of the things that you start to learn in the beginning Photoshop workshops, and they're 5-week workshops. Now I'm going to edit this. We're going to use Lightroom-like editing for simplicity to make my point. We have Lightroom type of features in Photoshop. It's called Adobe Camera Raw. Before Adobe upgrades Lightroom, they first do it in Adobe Camera Raw before it goes into Lightroom. So ACR and Adobe Camera Raw is essentially the same exact thing. So if we come up here to filter and come down to Camera Raw filter and click it, all right, what was it telling me there? Why was it giving me an error?
Cannot update something.
Cannot update. Okay, let's see something real quick. Let's go ahead and do it again. Maybe my internet, I don't think it needs access to the internet for this. So Camera Raw filter. Could not update Smart Filter because of a program error. Very interesting.
What program?
All right, so this is what we're going to do. I'm going to save this. I'm going to save it, SD Fair. I'm going to put it inside the, I thought I had a folder called, Final Tutorials. Call it Rooster, put it into here. We're going to shut down Photoshop, reopen it again. I'm just going to reboot it again.
Okay.
And I'm going to reset Photoshop. So hold down, let's see, Control, Alt, Shift. And then I'm going to come over to Photoshop. Let's go find it. Show all. Oh, I hate this thing.
Right there.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry. Let me go back. Let me go back. In the middle?
You can go down.
Further down?
There you go.
There it is. Control Alt Shift, hit Photoshop. Give it a minute to come up. There it is. See? Clear. It's going to clear all my preferences. It's going to reset it back, but at least it should be able to do what I wanted to do now. All right, so I'm going to come over and go back. Recent, Rooster. All right, I'm going to go into here. And I'm going to hit Control Shift A for ACR. There it is. Works. Okay. All right. So sometimes Photoshop gets a little bit buggy. Now, color is your crutch. This is what I'm starting to teach now in the beginning, and this goes all the way through the advanced Photoshop classes. Color is a crutch. As digital photographers, you got into a bad habit. If you were going to create a portrait, say as a painter, you have a white canvas there, what is the first thing that you do? This is not a trick question. What's the first thing that you do?
Put color on them.
You sketch it out, right? What color is the sketch?
Black, black.
Black. What's the next thing that you do? Yeah? Not yet. You got a sketch. What do you do with the sketch?
Fill it in.
Fill it in with what?
With the pencil.
Excellent. Shading. Right. You get your shading to produce what? Your depth. Your color doesn't come to last. So we as photographers are doing it backwards. We're manipulating everything by looking at color. Color is a problem, so we're going to remove the color. Why? Because we want to see the detail here, right? So watch what happens when we move the color. In Adobe Camera Raw, this is same thing as Lightroom, same sliders, same order, same nomenclature. We're going to come right down here to the bottom, to the color section, and we're going to go to saturation and take it all the way to here. See? Now you're looking at these and wonder, well, if there's no detail in here. We've lost a lot of detail, especially in these lower tones, especially in these areas here. So we have too much of the midtones: shadows, midtones, highlights. Shadows, midtones, highlights. Come on up. We're going to deal with the shadows first. I want detail. So watch me on this. Shadow sliders, pull up. So by getting closer, now we're seeing detail in here. All right, we're still going to, well, I still want to just edit the shadows. I'm going to come over to the blacks, which is the extreme blacks. So if you look up here in the histogram, there's these highlights here where it's mousing over. This represents my midtones. This represents my shadows, thus the shadow slider. Back over here to the left represents your blacks, thus your black slider. So if I go to the blacks and pull them up a little bit, I can pull a little bit more detail out of here. So what's happening overall is it's becoming flat. That is a good thing. Now we don't have any extreme highlights. I want to show you with another example of an image that's going to have extreme highlights. But for now, we don't have extreme highlights in here, so we don't really need to mess with the highlight slider. But just to go to highlights and show you what it does, it's pulling in a little bit more detail in there. And I might be able to, affords me the ability to go a little bit brighter with exposure. The exposure is manipulating your shadows, midtones, and highlights equally. Contrast is the devil. Never use it. Right? Because it's messing with your shadows and your highlights. And what we're doing now is learning to control shadows, midtones, and highlights independent from one another. All right, so the rooster is very flat, and this is a good thing. Now we're ready to start establishing that depth again. The darker content works like the bass in music, where it catapults your treble and your other tones forward, getting you a three-dimensional value. That's the same thing we want to happen here. So we're going to come down to this area called effects. That's two down. Go to my effects section. Get out of curves. There's effects right there. And we're going to go to dehaze. Now, why are we going to go to dehaze? Let's understand this. If you're in one of my Death Valley classes, and your camera's on a tripod, and you've got mountains way in the background, what do they look like? That's right, faded. Why? Haze, right? All right. So haze is doing what to your landscape? It's dulling it out, or that's correct. It's dulling it out or flattening it out. Why? What tones is the haze affecting? Shadows, midtones, highlights. It's affecting what?
I said midtones, but I said midtones.
Nope. It's the shadows. It's only affecting the shadows. The haze does not touch the highlights. It only touches the shadows. It makes the shadows brighter and the highlights stay where they are. That's what dehaze does. It targets the extreme darks. So if I take the dehaze and go to the left, it gets hazy. Right? It's affecting the darks. However, if I bring it to the right, it gives it the depth that you need. Look at that.
Wow. You can see the eye better, even though.
Right. Now you start to see the eye, and it's looking sharper. Now, because we've been playing around with shadows and highlights independently, we've neglected the midtones. The midtones needs a little bit more contrast too. That's what clarity is. It targets only the midtone areas. And as I grabbed it and slide it to the left, softens up, great for portraits, for ladies. But if we go to the right, it gives it that look of that.
It gives it his wrinkles back.
Yeah, it brings that detail back. So dehaze affects your shadows. Clarity only affects your midtones. What is your highlights going to do? What's your shadow textures going to do? Only your highlights. Take it, pull it to the left or to the right. Look. Okay. Now we've done our work. Now let's go bring back the color. Watch what happens. Remember, 0 is right here dead center, right?
Touch the red on this one. Or did you do all?
Okay, so the question is, did I only touch the red or did I do all colors? Let me ask you this. Let me ask everybody this question. Did I touch color?
No,
No,
that's saturation only.
I didn't touch saturation. Saturation means stronger color. I didn't touch any colors. I desaturated it. Colors were not touched. Look at this slider here. This is the normal location of it. What is this telling you? This extra gap here is telling you that you have more information in this file. Right? Is that making sense? Well, how is that possible? Because Photoshop doesn't work in RGB. We don't learn this until the advanced class. Workshop works in LAB. It separates the colors from the values. The values, all the black and white information is in a separate channel called L for lightness. So when we removed the saturation, it ignored color and only dealt with the brightness channel. Because natively, that's how Photoshop functions from the core. Right? If you want to add a little saturation, I would say go to Vibrance and pull it up a little bit, like something like this. If you wanted to add something like that, then when you click OK, before, oops, sorry. Let me go to Alt key. Let me zoom in closer so you can see it a little easier, a little better. Spacebar control is kind of getting a little close here. All right, and we'll go Alt eyeball, before, after. Before, after. Now when you want to put the highlight in the eye, create a brand new layer. Hit the B for the brush. Hit the D for default black and white color. I want the white on the top. Hit the X to switch to foreground and background color. Bring that highlight down and also zoom into the eye like this. Spacebar and control together. And resize the brush here. And let's see, make sure I've got my normal here. There, everything's 100%. And I'm going to just find out why this is not painting. And it should be. All right. Oh, wait a minute. I know why. Duh.
Or run the layer.
Layer is at the bottom. I had to put the layer on the top. Reduce the opacity of the layer. And also maybe add a little bit of a Gaussian blur if you like. Blur. Gaussian blur. Too much. And you got your catch light. We want to see it on another image, something more practical. One more time. All right, here we go. So Control W gets rid of it. I'm going to close it out. And let's go to Bridge. And let's go back to something here. Okay, we've got some color stuff here. Let's see if we take a look. You know what? There's some good examples here I can use. And let's do something with a variety of color in it. So we'll go with this graffiti. I've got this one. Maybe this one would be a good one. I like this one here, or that one. I think that one would be more practical. All right, so I'm inside a Bridge, and what I'm going to do is it's a raw file, it's a .cr2 file. Let's bring this into Adobe Camera Raw. Control R. Now we're there from the beginning. What's the first thing we're going to do? Go to saturation, and we're going to take out the color. Why? Because color is in the way, right? Saturation, pull it all the way down. Take a look at that. Now we're going to make it a better black and white image. Let's zoom in a little closer. If you notice, your blacks in here are blocked up. So I'm going to go to my shadows, and I'm going to pull up that detail. See? Does that make sense here? We're pulling up the shadow detail, so we gain detail in these lower tonal areas. So your sensor is blocking out this information. All right, if I go to my extreme blacks and bring it up a little bit, I can probably add a little bit more detail. That's about all I might need. Now, if I hit Control 0.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
How do you know that when to stop with the shadows?
Okay, very good. All right, the question is, how do I know when to stop with the shadows? A little bit of it is training, but I'll show you what I'm looking at when I'm adjusting this here. Let's get in close to where I was. Let's bring the shadows back, slider, double click on the slider to bring the shadows back. What I'm looking for is detail in the shadow areas. I don't care about this being black. I don't want this black right now. Right now, I want to gain information, because that visual information could make or break your image in terms of your image being award-winning. If the judges see your work is blocked up with a lot of detail in the lower areas, they're going to ding you for it. So I just want to bring it up so I can see detail in here. Go to my shadows and bring it up so you see the luminance coming through in the shadows? That's what you're looking for. You're not stressing out about the fact that it's not black right now, because now to you say, oh my gosh, there's tonal range in here, which means later I can bring it back with a stronger, deeper black. So that's what I'm looking for. Equally, what I'm looking for is detail in the highlights. So let me get in close to the blacks a little bit here. I went to the black slider as well and also brought that up a little bit just so that I can gain a little more information in these shadow areas, which we've got. What is this doing ultimately? It's flattening out your image, but that's a good thing. Now we need to deal with the highlights. Look at this. The highlights have the same problem, right? Shadows first, highlights next. Come to the highlights, I can blow them out. Or if I pull in the opposite direction, I can gain details. Look at that.
Blow it out again. I want to see it. Okay, now put the details back.
And then pull the details back. And it's only targeting the highlights. This slider does not touch midtones. It does not touch shadows. It only does highlights. Now, again, what I'm showing you is a stupid, simple way of approaching controlling your detail from the get-go. As we go on to the intermediate and advanced class, you're going to learn even more advanced ways using masking techniques. So, taking a look at now, we bring it back and it looks like, okay, this is flat as hell, right? That's a good thing, right? Now we're going to reestablish the black. Come down to your effects section. Dehaze. Clarity for your midtones. Rich, but there's detail. Now, texture. So if I get in close, much more beautiful. We actually see stucco. We see the texture of the concrete. We didn't see that before. And we'll do before and after. All right. Now it's time to bring back our color.
So the texture, what zone does that affect? The highlights?
Very good question. His question is, what is the texture effects? The highlights only.
Okay.
So dehaze is adding, what we're doing is we're adding greater separation between all the various tones in those respective areas, adding contrast, so to speak. Dehaze affects the shadows only. Clarity affects the midtones only. Textures affects the highlights only. Now, when we come back and go to the saturation, remember this is at 0, right? So watch this. Should I go further?
Yes.
Okay, let's go further. If we go all the way to 0, it starts to become garish.
What does that mean, garish?
Garish means it's way overly saturated and too much color for the eye to handle.
Okay.
So maybe somewhere around here. All right, we can add a little vibrance if you want just a little extra pop like so. And what are we seeing here? What's happening here? We're seeing pure black. We're seeing pure white, neutralized. We're seeing pure color now. You won't get this by manipulating your RGB channels. So if I click done, and I'm going to duplicate this, I'm going to control, well, I can hit Control D, I think it is.
Control J.
Control J, no, Control D, Control D, I think I did. Yeah, Control D was right. There it is. Put it right next to it. And on this one, I'm going to right click, develop the settings, and take away those camera raw settings and say clear those settings. So you can see it side by side. So let's do it this way. Let's select them both. There's a much cleaner image over here. This one's very muddy. This is what your sensor gave you. This is what you need to move your manipulations toward. Or I can do that. Okay, there. So that's before. Getting close. See that? And after. Before, after. Before, after. You see there's a much more, all that subtlety and detail just jumps out. It looks like you're seeing it true to life. You go back to the other, that's flat. It's like muddy. That is not. All right. So here we'll do one more. I think you guys will enjoy. Let's do something, a landscape shot here. This one could work. I shot this one in Hawaii. Let's see what we can do with. Oh, no, you know what? Okay, this is a good one too. All right, this one's going to be a special one I'm going to show you. But I want to show you one more. One more. Control R for Adobe Camera Raw. Take out the color. Already you can see it's muddy looking, right? I'm going to go to my shadows. Shadows, midtones, highlights. Deal with the shadows first. Pull up the shadows, see? So if we're getting close, let's take a look at this. See? This is what it is normally. This is where we're pulling up the shadows toward. Blacks, see? We're pulling it up. Now we got the highlights getting in the way now. Highlights, down. Maybe some whites too. Yeah, there we go. All right, I'm going to Control 0 to show everything. At this point, we're going to come down and go to the Effects tab. And we're going to add our dehaze. See that? Add clarity. Add texture. There. Let's go back to our color.
Wow, big difference.
Big difference, huh?
Either side by side.
It's psychological. It's a new way of thinking, and I'm going to share that with you. There we go. Let's go side by side. I'm going to hit Control D for duplicate, and we'll drag this down next to the duplicate down here. I will hit right click, develop settings, clear those settings. See? Before is hazy. After. Before. After. All right. So your sensor does a disservice sometimes. All right. Let's take a look at another. Here's a shot. This is something for more of the intermediate to advanced Photoshop class. We're going to open this one up in Photoshop. We're going to deal with this one directly in Photoshop. Command, let's go hit Enter. And I'm going to just click open the object for now. We're not going to work it in here. I know it, we will work it in there. Actually, no, we'll work it. We will, but not the way that you think. Control J, I'm going to duplicate it. All right, now let's work it the way that we did, and then we're going to go show you how you do it in Photoshop. Now, the first thing you always want to do, I'm going to go double click on this. This should open up in Adobe Camera Raw. You should always come down here, and actually Anthony talked about this a little bit. Hit your denoise, right? Go ahead and denoise it, which is a good thing. And then when that is done, I want you to come down over to remove chromatic aberration. Chromatic aberration, who does not know what chromatic aberration is? Raise your hand. Okay, do you ever look very closely to your photographs along the edges and you see maybe like a cyanish edge highlight or a yellow highlight or something like that? What happens when light hits glass? That's right, like a prism, it refracts. That's what's happening in your lens. When the light ray hits your lens, you can't control it, it's physics. It splits up your red, green, and blue light. Right? So maybe one of your cyanish light may be a little bit off, or your red may be a little bit off, or your yellow may be a little bit off, depending on the make, manufacturer, and quality of lens that you bought. If it's an average to crappy lens, you're going to see a lot of chromatic aberration. It'll be obvious. If it's a $1,000 to $2,000 lens that has really clean, good glass, you're going to see very little chromatic aberration. So what you're going to do is you're going to allow Photoshop to deal with that for you. So you remove chromatic aberration. So whatever halo that you saw here will be gone. Just let it do it for you. Don't try to do it manually. I like to do the correct the profile, lens profile. If you go before and after, you can often see it change a little bit, but I like to have this set. So that's done. The last thing I'm going to do is take out the color, just like we did before. Right, I'm going to start establishing a good black and a good highlight. Let's pull up the shadows just a little bit so we can see the detail. There we go. See that? We've got detail in there. And if you don't address it now, you're going to miss it on your final image. And when you print it and blow it up big, you're going to see it. So I might go to the blacks a little bit to bring them up. See that? So you can see the dark, it's just targeting the darker areas. Highlights, I want to bring some detail back in here. Go to my highlight slider. See? You can't see this when color is on because color is a crutch. It's in your way. Color is literally in your way. Go to my whites, which is extreme whites. I can bring those down a little bit if I like. That's good enough. Now it's time to reestablish the darker tones, the base. Pull this down, come to dehaze, and pull it like this. See? See that depth we're getting there? Now, clarity for the mid-tone contrast. And finally, we'll add a little bit of the texture for the highlight. That looks pretty good. All right, bring back our color. Saturation, bring it on over, and let's see what it looks like. Now, there wasn't a whole lot of color in this photograph to begin with, but it's still going to look a lot more interesting. See? Now we'll click OK. All right. So a couple of things going on here. What's the subject here? The water. Anything competing with this water right now? Thank you. The rocks at the top. Right? If you don't learn these concepts, your work will never be award-winning. Learn to control the values. Values mean your black and white information. All right, how do we do that? Well, one way is let's figure out a way to tone down that top so that our eye goes more toward the water. I'm going to add an adjustment layer of curves. Go to curves, and let's take a look at that curves, what we're going to make it do. I want this to tone down as if it's in the shading, in the shadow area. We do that not by darkening it, by putting a point here to darken it. Why? Because it darkens, well, not only does it darken everything else, I can't tell you that. Not only does it darken everything else, but look at the contrast range in that rock. It maintains the contrast range. That point says keep it high, keep the whites high, keep the darks low, but adjust all your middle range tones, right? Is that making sense? So I'm going to click that off. What we want to do when you take a look at anything that's in the shade or in the shadow, right? Your highlights are lower, they're closer to your darker tones. This is your highlights. This is your darker tones. Bring the highlights low to the darker tones. Now look at it. There's less contrast going on here. And now I can pull the midtones down a little bit darker or brighter, and you don't have that annoying contrast going on back there. So at this point, all you want to do is turn the mask to black, which means white reveals, black conceals. The shortcut to flipping that from white to black is Control-I. And this is stuff we get into in the intermediate class, after the beginning class. B for the brush. There's my brush. Paint with white. And just place it in here. Doesn't your eye now go to the water? Right? So, professional techniques. How much time? Oh, I got 10 minutes, right?
What about the far left bottom? Is that not distracting at all? Or
Yeah, sure. That's a very good eye, by the way. Let's kind of zoom in close. We can use that same adjustment for this, couldn't we?
11 minutes. I think.
She says, you got more time than you think. We're going to take every bit of time you can. Well, there's no one after me anyway, so if I stay a little bit later, it's no big deal. If I want to see how much darker this can go or what that will look like, shift and then click on the mask, and that turns the mask off so you can see the entire thing over everywhere. So this is what we're going to get down here. So we say, okay, that's a good thing. Take my brush, select the mask. I'm editing the mask, and just gently apply it where you want it. Does that make sense? Or if I think this little section here can use a little bit too, then it adds a nice composition there, right? For the highlights. Maybe up in here just a little bit, all up in here, like this, see? Yeah. Now I'll bring the brush smaller, pull this down, and just get this top section like so, just painting it in, and now your eye goes to these wonderful highlights where you want them to go. Why, you guys bored?
Looks like a big old water bed with a pillow.
Any questions? Well, no questions? Am I that good? Let's take a look at another. What else should we? Oh, here's something we can be thinking about. Oh, let's see. What can we do? Let's go and oh, here's a good one. This is a good one to use. We'll talk about the similar techniques we already have talked about, but we're going to apply it to this one. So let's hit it, open it up. Okay, and I'm going to just open the object. There we go. All right, let's duplicate the object, Command J. And let's see, has this been manipulated already? Let me check something out. Okay, good. It has not. All right, good. So I have this set in Bridge to open this up as a smart object automatically, where it maintains the original camera raw settings. The way you do that is in Bridge, actually in Adobe Camera Raw. Let me go back, just double click on it again. In Adobe Camera Raw, you have this section right down here. It's a hot link. I'm in 16-bit. If I drop it, open it up, it's in 16-bit, and there's an option in here. Let's see if I can find it real quick to maintain the connection to Adobe Camera Raw while you're in Photoshop. I'm looking for it, and it's in here somewhere, and I'm forgetting where it is. It's somewhere in here. We'll just leave it at that. Now, let's go ahead and apply our technique here. Let's take the color out real quick once again. Let's take the shadows up, all the way up. Blacks up. There we go. Much better. Take the highlights down. See? Maybe play with the whites a little bit. That works great. Now we're going to come back and reestablish the blacks. Now, of course, I forgot to do the denoise, and I forgot to do the chromatic aberration, so we'll do that right now. Let's give it a hot second. All right, chromatic aberration and use profile correction. That's set. That makes sure your red, green, and blue is all aligned properly, and your image is going to be in sharp focus. And now let's go to dehaze. See? Look at that richness. That water is going to add a nice richness that's going to lead your eye right to that beach there. Learning to manipulate these values. Go to clarity. It's getting a little closer. Kind of zoom in. See that texture and the beauty in the water? That wasn't there before.
So that trained eye, you know to go to plus 29 just by, that's a trained eye.
That's a trained eye, and I'm gonna talk more about that right after I'm done with this. Don't let me forget. All right, so I'm gonna talk about the trained eye. Now, yeah, this looks pretty good. So I'm gonna come back down to here. Dehaze, we got clarity and texture. There. Now, Control 0. I'm going to take a look at this real quick. Clarity, dehaze, maybe a little bit more clarity. It's right, yeah, like that. That's nicer. Saturation. Look at that. Your color's purer. You're getting pure color. Isn't that great? Much purer color.
Hawaii?
I don't know where that is actually. Actually, this is Hawaii. Yeah, I shot this in Hawaii.
Looks like you're up high on the hilltop.
Yeah, it's one of the main roads along the coast from the hilltop.
I'm sorry if I missed it, but did you have a color profile that you talked about with?
Nope.
Nope.
Nope. Color's a crutch.
Right, that's what you said that, but when we're working in, I saw display 3, or does that matter?
See, it did them both that way. I'm gonna
Just always kind of wondered if that makes a difference.
see what I should have done was this, guy. See, let me go back real quick. Let me go back. I'm gonna go back to here, and I'm gonna take this one, and I'm gonna tell this one right click on the right side, and I'm gonna tell it to rasterize. And rasterize means take it out of the smart object mode and make it a standard layer. Now I'll go back into this one and go do what we just did. We'll do it again. And take the saturation out, using my trained eye to bring that shadow detail up. Because I'm getting in close, what I'm looking at is I want to make sure that this detail, right, I can see that detail come out. That's what I'm looking for. I'm doing this back and forth to make sure I get all the information in the shadows. Go to my blacks, extreme blacks, bring it up a little more. Now I've got even more detail. Now, if you have to bring it all the way over the right, that's fine. It depends on your image. Not all images need that. Go to my highlights, pull them down. See, look at the sand. And go to whites. You can see it in the sand. Now I'm gonna do it one last time. We're gonna go down to dehaze and reestablish a nice richer black. Clarity, there we go. Texture, like that. That's nice. Might bring this over a little more. That's even better. Sometimes coming back up, guys, you go to your shadows. Sometimes you may need to bring it down just a little bit, just to reestablish a little richer detail in there. Now, saturation. There we go. That's better. Look at that. Only that far as I need to go. Click OK. Look. Before, after. Before, after.
The water's rich and everything's rich.
Much richer. So it's a mindset you have to be in. Okay, now let's talk about that mindset I told you not to let me forget about. Let's get inside a bridge. I made a special folder here called Inspirations. And this is the stuff you got to start studying. The black and white photography from the masters. Go back to what Ansel Adams has been teaching us from day one. Learning to master the values so that your work becomes expressive and luminous. Look at how they use values to control the motif of the scene. This is what you're going to be doing. This is what you should be doing with your color. Master it so that you're getting a great black and white result. And then you can apply it to color. Now we start, yes.
I was going to ask, when you convert to black and white,
Yes.
do you still use this process?
Oh, yes. In fact, I'll show you a little I'll show you another little technique I think you'll like. Here's another example, using values to get this to stand out. So if you've never taken a Photoshop class before, you're going to do the 5-week beginning Photoshop class so that you understand Photoshop intrinsically. The intermediate class starts to get into this stuff here. The advanced class gets into it to the point where you're no longer working in RGB. You're going to be working in LAB. So, again, these masters are using values to interpret their work, to interpret the feeling, the mood, the motif. See? This is more than just a waterfall. This is an abstract piece. It's about light. It's about mood. The black and white values creates the mood, not the color. But if you can master producing the mood first and then bring the color back and get a combination of both, then you start to have something. Learn to master these tones so that everything has its own character and completeness, not being blown out and not being completely blocked up. So this is the work that I study on a regular basis. I go to museums and galleries and look at the master's work.
That's a good idea.
Now look at how they control the tones to interpret, to control your eye where they want your eye to go. a standard shot, this grass would be bright, but they controlled the value so the grass was darker to allow these brighter bricks to stand out. And then the house to paint in this negative space up here,
Or a house or a church.
or a church, or a house or a church. Now, but they also control the clouds, right? The clouds were probably bright white when they photographed it, but they toned it down. They did a poor job on this one because you can see the that little halo up there along the edge of the house. That's what you don't want. Why does the artists have this halo? Because they didn't put the house on its own layer.
Oh.
Put the house on your own layer, right? That's what you learn day one in the 5-week beginning Photoshop class is how to work layers. Look at how this artist controls the tones of this piece. He's not looking.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting? So this is how you should be studying. So that now you can bring what you see. Look at that. Look at the way they deal with tones, how they handled it.
And whether to bring out texture or not. in the
Yes,
repairs.
yes. Where to bring out texture, if you should bring out texture. Maybe you shouldn't. Maybe you should tone the texture down in a shaded area or a shaded motif. This is John Paul Caponegro, a very famous photographer, one of my favorite pieces, using tones to control the theme.
What animals are that?
I think they're goats or something, or deer, something like that. Another example.
It's one of those things you.
See? This was probably bright gray, right? But a photographer wanted you to lead your eye to here, so he toned down everything else. Here at the fair, I see the great composition, but the post-processing is weak.
How so?
Exactly what I've been talking about. They don't learn to control the tones. They give you an acceptable processed image, but not an expressive one. That's it.
So Steve, when
Yes.
you're converting, I don't know if you do, but black and white. But when you're converting, do you
Yes.
work on fixing the image color-wise?
Right.
And then do the desat?
That's right. So the question is she's asking me to kind of pull together exactly what I'm doing. So whenever actually, let's go to Bridge real quick and let me just share. When I work with any image, just quickly, and say it's something like that, right? I turn it to black and white, and I edit it as a black and white, in order so that I can control my details. Once I get the black and white details controlled, then I add the color on top of that.
Okay, so you don't change anything at this point. You do what you've been showing us,
Yes,
and then you make adjustments.
then I'll make adjustments.
And you go like to the color mixer for black and white to bring up reds and yellows.
You can. You need to take the class.
Would I be able to take the class?
Yes.
All I had. Now, wait a minute.
Okay, go ahead. I'm listening.
Adobe Element Photoshop.
Okay,
2023.
you will start with the beginning Photoshop class
Okay.
for people who know little or nothing.
Okay.
In fact, put a parentheses next to you to
Okay.
call you about the beginning Photoshop class.
Okay.
It'll really help you.
Okay.
Now, I also do the photography workshops at Death Valley in the Eastern Sierra. I only allow 8 people in the class, and that's where we get out to shoot together and learn. And it's a class. It's not a photo tour. Oh, you need another ping? Is there one? You got okay. So it's a class. It's not a photo tour. So you learn composition, lighting. Part of the class is critiques every day, every morning. Critiques from the group. And we also do a half-day Photoshop class at the end. So seriously think about something like that too. And those are filling up quickly because of the fair, so you need to let me know now.
Would it
Not
be
like
handy?
right now.
Yeah,
but
come on up, come on up.
Would it be any,
Oh, there it is.
obviously that would be landscape. That's the,
Yeah, we landscape and nature.
and would anything
Okay.
be applicable to other,
Everything of it will be applicable to other.
yeah, I guess. 'Cause I
Yes.
was learning to, it's really interesting. Thank you.
You're most welcome. All right.
I'm Erin. Nice to
Mary,
meet you.
Stephen Burns, a pleasure.
Erin.
Oh, Aaron. Okay. Yeah, go on and give me your information. And,
Yeah, that was wonderful.
yeah, and if you're, yeah, put in parentheses beginning Photoshop class if you're interested, because it's for
Okay.
people who know nothing about it at all.
I do know a little bit.
No, beginning Photoshop class.
Even okay.
Yeah, beginning Photoshop. The way I teach it is different.
Okay. Yes, I see.
I
that.
want you to be an artist.
Yeah, I am in here.
Yeah, that's what I want you to do. So,
I just need to learn how to apply it.
yeah, so put it down.
Thank you. Have you ever taken your class up? Do you know the town of Beatty, just outside of?
Okay, now this is interesting. She just asked me a question here. I want to share with everybody.
Yeah.
Somebody asked me, have I ever taken my workshops to Beatty?
Beatty.
The Death Valley Inn in Beatty has a permanent exhibition of all my work.
Really?
At Death Valley Inn.
Fantastic.
I just put that up early this year.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So yeah, that's our base. We stay in Beatty for Death Valley, but we have a lot of ghost towns in our class.
So that's what I was going to ask. If you've ever gone north, I can't remember.
That's exactly we go
Up
to.
to where those cars
Yep.
are buried.
Yeah, we go to Goldfield, Gold Point, Tonopah.
Yes, Goldfield. that's
Goldfield,
it, yeah.
Gold Point,
And then
Tonopah.
I think on the left is the ghost town.
Yeah, the ghost town's everywhere. It's all around you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Beatty's a fun.
It's a fun place, and like I think Lois and Amethel are going to try to go on this workshop coming up, so it'll be a good time to get involved in the Death Valley class too.
Yeah, Death Valley. I used to work there in the hiking program.
Oh,
Valley,
cool.
and we stayed in Beatty.
Yeah.
You could be our guide then.
Yeah, I could. But one thing that I laughed on the back of a truck one time I saw, if you want to go someplace where nobody will ever find you,